Peace, love, knowledge, and freedom, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Just Seen Motherfucking Podcast. And welcome back to season 11, dog. My bad, I've been watching Martin and shit. You feel me? So I'm in the back. But yeah, welcome back to motherfucking season 11 and shit. Right. And as you've seen from the title, today we're gonna be talking about consumption. Before I dive into that part, I just want to say, welcome back. I hope everybody had, good holidays, good time. I hope within the time off, I had a lot of rejuvenation within this time off. I did not know I needed a break from life like I did, just from everything, because I never really realized how much I do because I'm doing it. You feel what I'm saying? But when I actually did nothing, like nothing. I was like, damn, bro, I really don't be resting. I really don't be doing shit. I mean, I be doing a lot all the time and I never stop. And so because I finally had a chance to stop and just say, I was kind of forced to stop, but being able to just accept that I was forced to stop and then stopping was like, yo, damn, bro, shit, I could fucking rest. And so I enjoyed this time and everything, but in that time, you know, some things don't stop. You feel me? Some things don't stop. And one of the things that don't stop is why we're having this episode on consumption right now. But yeah, man, it's been a nice time being off and not doing anything. Nothingness is just as important as somethingness. And that's not a fucking word, but you feel what I'm saying? It's just as important. Sometimes you have to be able to do nothing to be able to gain more and be able to do more. If you heard the last impromptu, I was saying that I'm gonna continue on beyond season 12. If you made it to the end, you feel me? But because if you're a real one, then you know that you made it to the end. But if you just new to this and you don't get through them yet, it's cool. You'll be in the rabbit hole soon. But I wanted to stop at season 12 based off of just the reality that I was in, but I'm not. I'm going to keep going because I realize what this is really a part of, and it's bigger, and there's more information, more insight coming to me, and I'm learning and growing right now at a different rate that is beyond what I even thought was going to happen. You feel what I'm saying? Sometimes you realize that you get capped off at things, but it's not really a cap off. It's just a moment of sedentary movement that you need to adhere to just to recalibrate. So with that being said, hence the title consumption. If you've seen it already, I think that's the title. Am I gonna name it that? Yeah, consumption, the euphemism for gluttony, right? I'm gonna go down. I'm using this as a euphemism for gluttony, but the main theme is gonna be consumption because I look at I was looking at the world and I'm like, yo, like, what is, because I was frustrated. I was very frustrated by, what I'm saying, the holiday season, going into the holiday season or whatever, because it's like it's the same old shit, same old shit. Like, motherfucker just, it's, you eat and you spend. That's it. That's it. You eat and you fucking spend for 2 months straight, bro. Like, it was mind boggling because it's like, in those moments, those are the moments where people are, dealing with seasonal depression. They're dealing with things that are winter based. Winter is a whole different reality in its own. Winter is a time for decline. It is a time for preparation for transformation. But we're walking into the winter months. We're walking into the winter consuming. Like we got to sit with that. Like that season, I don't give a fuck what calendar you're on. When you understand the seasons, there's four of them: the initiation season, the maturation season, the season of decline, and the season of death. During the season of decline and death, we're consuming. You feel what I'm saying? We're consuming. Consumption needs to be had during. I don't know when it needs to be had, but just let me slow down this. All right, slow down. All right. So when it comes to this consumption shit, right? It's like we consume without limitation. And it kind of got like, it got out of hand over the time. And one of the conversations that I had over this time was like, somebody was like, they asked me, yo, you don't want no more to eat? I think this had to be around Thanksgiving, you know, because I don't think it was the Christmas time, but yeah, it had to be around Thanksgiving. But I think I had like one plate, you feel me? And I was good, I was full. And, they make smorgasbords and shit. So, and then on top of that, I don't eat half the shit that they eat anyway. So it's like I ate enough of what was there. And so the motherfucker say, yo, go get you another plate. You need to eat some more. You need to eat some more. No, I don't. I'm full. No, you ain't. How the fuck you gonna tell me? It kind of got like that. Like, how the fuck you gonna tell me I'm not full? You need to eat some more. That's why you small now. And then it was, I'm like, I'm the weight and the height and the size I'm supposed to be. You feel me? For one, my BMI is perfect. You know what I'm saying? My internal composition is perfect. But so my snapback, I should have said that. I should have been on some, you know, health wise. But I was like, but I'm not on medicine and you are. Not only that, you can't get off of it because of this shit here. And then it got me thinking about a bigger scale, like consumption as a whole. Like, I realized that food addiction is one of the easiest addictions to get into because you can always justify it that I'm hungry. But the reality is you're not hungry, you're addicted. You're addicted to food that is deprived of nutrients, and by being deprived of nutrients, you never feel full. So you have to keep consuming. You feel what I'm saying? And that one example, that one expression expanded my thought process because it's like, when do we stop consuming? This is everything. Music is now streaming. You don't get a break from music anymore. The internet has no log out. The internet is there's Wi-Fi everywhere. There was a time when we only had fucking dial up. You can only use it when somebody wasn't on the phone, but when somebody needed to call, you had to cut the internet out. When do we stop consuming? You feel me? We become consumers. And it made me wonder, like, is that by accident? No, it's not by accident. It's by design. Because when you look at they literally have a consumer report in America. So they encourage people to become consumers. But I'm diving heavy into it and I feel myself slipping into the actual episode. So before we dive heavy into that, be sure to follow me on Instagram _just_scene_. Be sure to check out my website at IamJustSeen.com to get all things that are just seen. To all those who tip, donate, and sponsor to the podcast, you are greatly appreciated. To all those who would like to tip, donate, and sponsor to the podcast, you can do so by clicking the link in the description of the podcast. Not the episode, but the podcast. Cash App and PayPal are just fine. And you know the vibes, that's that for this and that's this for that. So we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to dive into consumption, the euphemism for gluttony. And don't forget to visit IamJustSeen.com. There, you can get all things Just Seen. You want to add the So For Real series to your library? Visit IamJustSeen.com. You want to learn how to master the markets for serious trading and investing? Visit IamJustSeen.com. You want to get your hands on some exclusive merch like tees, hoodies, coffee mugs, hats, bags? Visit IamJustSeen.com. Are you thinking about transitioning into the plant-based lifestyle? Visit IamJustSeen.com. You ever want to just chat with Scene about anything from simple advice to mentorship? Visit IamJustSeen.com. Anything and everything that is me, you can find at IamJustSeen.com. So take a quick peek into my world to see why being just seen is nothing less but always more. Because you never really know what you need until you see it, and you will never see it unless you visit IamJustSeen.com. Welcome back. And it's season 11, baby. I'm telling you, it's gonna be different. But let me go ahead and dive back into that and finish with the thought that I was on. So when I look at, as an entrepreneur, I had to realize something. It's like we don't like your success as an entrepreneur depends on how much you can make people consume of you, right? So I'm talking to people. And I'm talking to family, I'm talking to friends, and I'm talking about, they're like, yo, what happened to you? Like, you don't shop like you used to. You don't buy, because I'm like, I'm producing, homie. Like, I don't have the desire to consume anymore. And I never realized it goes back to when I was a kid. I'd never been an over consumer. I never succumbed to consumption that much. But I was like, when I'm done, I'm done. But I've been somebody who can overproduce. You feel what I'm saying? Now, as a producer, this now makes it more of a viable reality. So it ties back into the person that I was talking to. They was like, yo, that's why, you smaller. I'm like, no, it's because I also produce results with what I consume. So rather than eating and sitting the fuck down, I'm gonna eat and walk. I'm gonna eat and work out. I'm gonna go wring my muscles out. I'm gonna do something else with this energy I just consumed. And they have made us comfortable some fucking how with consuming without producing. And I know how. I'm not gonna say some fucking how. It's through convenience. It's through convenience. And we look at capitalism as, oh, capitalism is so wrong. I seen this post and it kind of pissed me off because I hate when people not in the game talk about what's in the game and then try to demonize and vilify what's in the game. And here's what I mean by that. They say, I'm not a billionaire. Nowhere near it. I ain't even hitting, I'm not even at a million. But the point that they were saying is like no billionaire can achieve billions, become a billionaire without doing things illegally or deceitful or evil. No, that's to say that when we look at every billionaire who's running the world right now, they provide consumption to everybody. They produce something for everybody to consume. I think we need to sit and acknowledge that for a second. So the people that are saying the billionaires are going down a wrong route, you can't obtain billions ethically. That's what it was. No billionaire attained billions ethically. And the example that was used, they was like, yeah, well, back before, they had cops and laws, some dude had like a couple hundred acres because he would go around and just kill people with land and take it. All right, cool, I get that. But in the grand scheme of things, when you in a service world and you in a world of consumers and producers and you're a producer and you can get millions of people to consume, whose fault is that? How does that make me evil? So I started to think about Bill Gates. We ain't gonna talk about that motherfucker because you feel me. He on some shit, but he was on some shit before the billionaire shit. You feel what I'm saying? But he's a billionaire not because he does foul shit, but because he provides consumption. He produces something for people to continually consume. Jeff Bezos, he took it to a whole different level. And that's why he got there so much faster because not only does he not only does he produce for consumers, he creates a marketplace for producers to provide to consumers and takes a piece of it. That's a whole different business model. That's a whole different level of the game. You see what I'm saying? Like that's cold. But is it wrong? I produce something for you to consume in a world where they teach us that consumption is power. You feel what I'm saying? All my life, I've heard positive affirmations towards consumption. You feel me? I never forget when I was young, I used to hear all the fat people. If you're overweight and you listen to this one part, just don't cancel me. Don't cancel me. Just hear me out. It makes sense. But I used to always hear fat people and people talk about fat people as being healthy. Confused the fuck out of me. That's a healthy boy. No, that nigga's fat. That nigga's overweight. The fuck? I had a homeboy. We was 11. He's like a year younger than me. So I was 11. He had to be 10. At 11 years old, I didn't even break 110 pounds at 11 years old. You feel what I'm saying? At 11 years old, he was over 250. And he was under, and at that time, I think at 11, I had to be like 5'2", 5'3", because I'm relatively tall. Yeah, I'm like 5'2", 5'3" at the time, at 11. And so he was like 4'11", and he's over 250 pounds. And niggas like, yo, that's a healthy boy. My mind's fucked up because as a kid, I'm like, yo, you're using a positive word for a negative situation. But how many of us have grown up like that? That's healthy. Or that motherfucker. No, that's not healthy. That's fat. That's overconsumption. That's overconsumption. But that's just from the physical aspect. And this is why I'm using that, because when we can see it on the physical, we have to understand that it always happens. It also happens on the mental and the spiritual. People be thinking because they got good physical metabolisms that the mental and spiritual is not being shown. There's overconsumption on that side too. You feel what I'm saying? And excuse me. And this is why I was getting into the streaming music and all this other shit. But it's like we consume, but we don't produce. And when you consume, like imagine If this kid lived on a farm and he ate that much, that's cool. Cause you gonna go work that shit off. You can go walk in this field, you can go do something, but you know what I'm saying? It never moved. The needle never moved. So now you see people consuming and consuming and consuming. We're in a consumer society. This is one of the reasons why I'm learning that this is why they hype Lizzo. I'm not shitting on Lizzo at all. And they hype overweight people, but it's deeper than just the overweight people on the physical side. What they're promoting is consumerism. You feel what I'm saying? Oh, you're body shaming. Let that person eat. Let that person consume. Let's change this word. Stop looking at eat as just eating, because when we talk about eating, it's just food. Let's change that whole word. And anytime you say eat from this point forward, use the word consume and watch how it applies to multiple areas of your life. But when we say this person is eating, we only talk about eating food. We don't talk about the actual eating of music. We don't talk about the eating, because now with eating, you have to realize digestion. When people are overweight, that means they are not digesting what they are consuming. Pause that for a second, because it's going to get dramatic. Physically, you are not properly digesting what you are consuming. Now, from the physical aspect, we're going to make it sciencey real quick. Digestion is a twofold process. Well, no. So digestion is a one-fold process. I'm sorry. But to break down, in order to digest, you have to have an efficient metabolism. Metabolism is a twofold process. You have catabolism and you have anabolism. Catabolism is the breakdown of food into nutrients. Anabolism is the build up of those nutrients into useful products. So when people say, yo, you got a high metabolism or whatever the case may be, they're understanding it not from the perspective of true metabolism. It's just, oh, this person digests food fast. When you consume more than you're able to digest, what happens? When you're consuming more than you're able to digest, what happens? So now this goes into another level. Are you metabolically sound and fit to digest this shit? Not only digest it, but incorporate it correctly. Now, that's just for the physical aspect of food. The food ain't got no motherfucking nutrients in it, homie. The food ain't got no motherfucking nutrients in it. So your catabolism may work, but where's the anabolism going to go? Because a part of the catabolism, the breakdown of food, you need what, in order to break down the nutrients, you still need what is created from the anabolic side. This is why people ultimately start gaining weight. The anabolic side doesn't work. You ever seen a motherfucker, this is why they call them anabolic steroids, and the motherfuckers get big and they bulk up, because what it's doing is providing you with nutrients. They fucked up nutrients. I ain't gonna talk about that, but they provide you with an overabundance of nutrients that you are unable to deal with. So the body has to work in a synergy. So metabolism needs, so in order to catabolize, in order for catabolism to work properly, you also need anabolism. And also, in order for anabolism to work properly, you need catabolism. So for your metabolism to be efficient, both of those things have to work. Our anabolism doesn't work properly. I ain't gonna say our, because my shit is good. And most slim people's shit is good. But that means that slim people have to overcompensate on another side, because that means their catabolism isn't as efficient. So the human body is literally, you have three forms of the human body. This is what gets me when people are like, yo, you work out like a motherfucker that ain't your body type. I would never work out like an endomorph or a mesomorph. But these are the ways in which our bodies are developed. So you have the ectomorph, which is something like I am. The tall motherfucker that's slim. You have the endomorph, which is the short motherfucker that's stocky. I ain't gonna say fat, because I already said that enough. Short motherfucker that's stocky. Then you have the mesomorph, is the motherfucker that's smack in the middle between ectomorph and endomorph. You dig what I'm saying? So when it comes to the ectomorph, right, that person has a much higher catabolism and a less efficient anabolism. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like you break down the nutrients flawlessly, but you don't build them back up correctly. So that means you need supplementation. That means you're going to need things to get your digestion back in alignment. Things that I had to figure out myself. I knew that for me, in order to gain the weight that I needed to gain, I needed to incorporate oils into my body, lipids. But they teach us to have low-fat diets, and that's why our hormones and shit fucked up. But I'm not going to talk about that part yet. That's later down the line. So people that have the endomorphic people, they have a higher catabolism and a less efficient anabolism. So because they break the shit down, they don't build nothing back up with it, so they store it. That's fact. Mesomorph motherfuckers, they call them special, but they the motherfuckers that's right there in the middle. Oh, you the motherfuckers that could just not have to work out and da da da. I don't hate on mesomorph people because at the end of the day, everybody still has an imbalance. Because when they get fat, it's different. It's different. The endomorph motherfucker is already chubby, but when the mesomorph motherfucker gets fat too, they have to be consuming far more. You feel what I'm saying? Far more than the endomorph. So it's like, damn. So when you see the motherfuckers who's like 600 pounds and more and shit, oftentimes they're not endomorphs. They're mesomorphic people who gave up on life. You see what I'm saying? So that's physically. I want y'all to see the dynamic of how important it is because that's just physical, homie. That's physical. They teach us all in all that we equate our consumption to our status. We don't realize that part. And this is why I get into the capitalism and consumerism because everybody says the capitalists are so wrong, but everybody wants the status to consume. Sit with that. You can't in one breath get mad at capitalism, say capitalism is so bad and it's so trash and it's so these people are so evil, but you can't stop consuming. Capitalism stops when people are able to produce. This goes back into convenience. I don't be trying to be rude and mean when I say convenience is because convenience means lazy and ignorant. You cannot produce when you do not know and you do not do. That's what production is, doing what you know. Like, seriously, when we really put it on paper, producing is doing what the fuck you know. So if you're not able to produce something, can you really say you know something? No, because now you have to rely on your degree. So now this is where the little status symbol comes in. I'm going to go do the job. That's the illusion. I'm going to go do the job. No, you're going to go perform a task. You're going to do what you're told and you're going to get a check. And that check that you're going to get is going to determine how much you can consume in a month. Now, we're going to give you this thing called status, and we're going to give you a thing that you don't have called status, and then we're going to put you into a group, into a blanket group of motherfuckers who need status as well. Now we're going to make you we're going to separate you from celebrities and people like that, and famous motherfuckers. Like celebrities, I'm learning, they didn't start until like the 1900s. Like the idea and the conceptualization of celebrities, like there was no fucking famous niggas in 1800s. You feel me? Like you either like you wasn't randomly famous. The celebrity came in with entertainment. Celebrity came in with the overproduction of entertainment. Know that. If you notice, they don't use celebrities anymore. They use influencers. You're getting caught into a whole nother 100-year okie doke. Because the influencers and the celebrities are used to create the buffer that generates the capacity for consumerism. Because it's going to give you a status. If I can afford this or if I can buy this, I'm in this league. If I can consume what this person is consuming, I am like that person. Do you see how it works? And this isn't just food. This is everything. So now when people talk about, oh, you need to live within your means. Now, some people don't like consuming everything. You feel what I'm saying? But all of this shit is built off consumption. Some people don't like to consume the Benz, so they'll consume the BMW. Some people need to consume the Benz or the BMW or the Lexus, so they'll get a motherfucker that's like 20 years old just because of they can consume and say, you can afford something nobody wants to eat. Sit with that. We are in a stage, and this is where the gap comes in. Because now we go from consumption to producer and shit, and this is where the separation between poverty and wealth. I used to think poverty was so bad, and poverty is like, they create these conditions. No, they don't. No, they don't. Poverty and wealth are both choices, and they're both choices depending on whether you're going to consume or produce. Wealth is a matter of producing far more than you're consuming. Wealth is a matter of producing far more than you're consuming. Poverty is a matter of consuming far more than you're producing. We be looking at wealthy people and they be like, oh, these people hoard their wealth. They just stop. No, they're not hoarding their wealth. They're continually producing. If you want the wealthy to stop being wealthy, stop consuming so much. This is going to seem like I'm in alignment with, no, I'm being realistic. I'm being realistic. I, as a person who was born a consumer, who has now transformed into a producer, who now still has understanding on both sides, I get it. I get how this shit works. As an entrepreneur, my goal is to make you consume what the fuck I produce. They give you all kind of euphemisms for the shit, but it's still all gluttony. But it's like, oh, be a content creator. I'm a content creator. I'm a content creator. Motherfuckers wanted to become content creators because they didn't want to have to do heavy work. The window for the successful content creator is gone. Now it's an oversaturated market. So oversaturated that it became so oversaturated that these niggas said you don't need a bachelor. They taking the requirements for bachelor's degrees off. Yo, I can only imagine how disrespected y'all feel. Motherfuckers have put in the work. They have gone through rigorous and you don't even need. It's not even a requirement anymore. That means a random motherfucker can come off the streets and get a job now. Do you know why they did that? My sisters, I hope y'all listening. Y'all remember when y'all became the most educated in the world, in the country, the most degrees, the highest educated? Now your shit's worthless. But you're in debt as the consumer with all of those degrees. Y'all got to figure something out. Y'all got to figure something out at this point. I'm not shitting on y'all. I'm not saying that y'all made a dumb move. I'm not saying none of that shit because nobody saw what the fuck they did though. They planned it. With integration, they knew what the fuck they was going to do. They said, we're going to put these niggas enslaved again. We're going to make them enslaved again. We're going to make them want to go to school, make them want to get the education. That's why from the 60 and 68, when the civil rights shit was signed, integration, everything around the 70s, 80s, like that boom between the 80s and the 90s, those motherfuckers who got college degrees, the black people with college degrees, 80s, 90s, and 2000s. 80s, 90s, and 2000s. That's 30 years that's 3 decades of degrees of niggas in debt. Fucking debt. I don't know many black people. I know personally one person who was able to go to school without having to pay much or whatever the case may be. But I don't know too many black people who got multiple degrees but don't have a high load of debt. And now your degree is worth. Now I get it, motherfuckers. Well, everybody's matter. There's people in debt too. I don't give a fuck about them. They not my people. They not my people because at the end of the day, it's bigger than that. It's bigger than that for me. Because it's like those people also come from bloodlines that may have shit to pass down. We came from nothing and now we're deeper in debt. The shackles is different, but it's the same. We can't get out of this shit. I know people right now that encourage me to go to college, I'm debt free. Now I ain't gonna say I'm debt free now. I got a couple more payments that I gotta make, but I'm close. From what I had to pay in from undergrad and walking out, like a lot of motherfuckers, yo, you need to go back and finish because you're not gonna be able to pay that shit off. I'm closer to paying my shit off than they are. I think I got 2 payments left. That's it. 2 payments and I'm done with this shit. Like that's undergrad, med school, masters, walking away from all of it. I got 2 more left. You feel me? Shout out to Iwi. Shout out to Master of the Market. You feel me? Shout out to knowing what the fuck DeMarcus was doing. You feel me? But at the end of the day, beginning of the day, this is not to brag, but it's to say what I see. Because these people now that encouraged it, they can't retire. They can't retire and they're still in debt from the school that they went to. Imagine that. You know why? Because of consumption. Because now we're getting back into the cycle of the motion of the conversation. When we're looking at consumerism, when we're looking at consumption, it's the status. The degree was the status. Oh, I got a PhD. I'm a doctor. I'm this, that, and the third. I'm this. I can help. You got status now. Because of that status, you have to consume. You have to consume according to that status. You know how many motherfuckers is crazy? And like, I remember I was dealing with a woman. And this is when I realized that our entrepreneurship was different. Because she was always talking about, yeah, you gotta get that big body Tahoe all blacked out. That's real boss shit. That's not boss shit. That's consumer shit. Nigga, that's consumer shit. You want to be seen, you want to be known, you basing it off of status. The status, hear me well. This ain't a slight to her because I just use that for reference. But the status of a consumer will never compare to the status of a producer. When we look at classism only applies to the consumer. It don't apply to the producer. And I'm going to tell you why. Because consumers compete, producers collaborate. There's a whole different world of motherfuckers in the production world. Y'all used to hear me say it all the time, and I still say it still say it now. I was about to say to this day. That's why I stuttered. So shut the fuck up. But I still say it now. You feel what I'm saying? Damn, I done lost a thought because I shouldn't have corrected myself for stuttering. But when the consumer, the status of the consumer, maybe to come back if I say it again, the status of the producer, the consumer is what separates the reality. It's two different realities. You feel what I'm saying? Producers collaborate. Consumers compete. That was a thought. You always hear me say it's lonely at the top when you're scared to befriend your equals. Because once consumers decide to start transitioning into producers, they want to remain consumers. That's where the fuck up is. So you can't, as a consumer, knowing that I come from a competitive space, I can't go compete with, you're not supposed to compete with producers. Producers don't compete. They collaborate. They work together. But they reach a point where they get to their best self and they say, I now need to see what applies to me. I've had to step into that space. But don't get me wrong. There's four planes in this shit. I might even do an entrepreneur on it. There's 4 planes in this shit. You got to go from consumer to consumer producer. Oh, no. You go from consumer to producing consumer to consuming producer to producer. Does that make sense? I'm going to say it again just so I can have my clarity with it. You got consumer, and then you have producing consumer, and then you have consuming producer, and then you have producer. So there's levels to it. This is where the quantum leap comes in, because so many people get it. This is why a lot of people fail at entrepreneurship, because they try to go from consumer to producer. And I'm only saying that because these were some of the things I had to overcome during my failures. You can't be a hustler in this shit. That's why you got to get to a point of systemizing your shit so that way you can continually feed the consumption. Advertising and marketing are not accidents. They are means to continually feed the consumption and keep the addiction to the consumption alive. I know it seems so fucked up. It's like, oh, that's so cutthroat. That's like, is it really cutthroat when motherfuckers choose to consume? They pride themselves on consumption. Pride themselves on consumption so motherfucking much. Motherfuckers will go to the club to buy the bottle for 5 times more than it's actually worth. Consumption tied to status. I am in the club. Like, I remember there was a time when we went to the clubs and shit. We pregame. I'm glad I was born. I'm glad I clubbed in the right motherfucking era, because I clubbed in the era in which the money we had was to get in the club and get food when we left. We don't want to buy no fucking bottles. We're going to be drunk before we get there. We still operating on the liquor that we bought 2 fucking months ago that we just taking shots on when we pregame it. One person, the designated driver, we going to get to the motherfucking club. Now everybody got to have a bottle. Everybody got to have, like, how does, when everybody in the club is in a VIP section, there are no VIPs in the club. Nigga, when everybody in the club is in a VIP section, there is no VIP section. You're not important anymore. Nobody even, you didn't have to pay for the VIP section. You were very important, so they put you there to bring motherfuckers in. Now motherfuckers pay to get to the VIP. What? I want my booth. You're not important enough for a booth. I'm sorry, respectfully. But when you're a consumer, you have to create that illusion. Because I can consume a lot, I have a higher status. That status doesn't apply to producers. Your targets in the producing realm. That's crazy, right? But what people say. But at the end of the day, when I know when I know that the reality, what I can make you consume, I know what I need to produce. You feel what I'm saying? When you can create something that people need forever, you're a different type of producer. When I look at mastering the market, when I look at hitting it raw, when I look at so frail, everything that I produce is to be consumed forever. It's not in the moment. The shit isn't in the moment. You feel me? Shout out to my bro Pat. He always remind me, he like, bro, like, all of your content is like libraries. It's like the information that you exhibit, the information that you have, it's like libraries worth of shit on different levels. And it's like, I've consumed so much that I can produce whatever the fuck I want. I'm going to toot my horn on that. This is season 11. We're motherfucking back. This is season 11. Master number. Pay attention, y'all. Keep up. But I've consumed so much that I can produce what the fuck I want. But I had to step into the realm of being a producer first because I've always been a consumer. There's so many people that have consumed so much and they don't know how to produce and they don't choose to produce. But there's also a group of people who don't even know that production is possible. It's only consumption. So they go exert themselves for labor. They go exert themselves just so they can consume. It's weird and it's hard to understand, but a lot of us in this community, in my community, in the Black community, we are over consumers. There's no reason why. Like think about how much potential we could have if we were all producers. The Black dollar, the buying power of Black people is over $1 trillion in America, right? But we're only consumers. Why? Because out of slavery and out of what we want, they created like this was a buffer, integration, all this shit. It was a smart buffer to make us stay enslaved because we're fighting for status. We're gonna consume. I want you to go to the best schools. I want you to drive the best cars. I want you to drive the best. Who defined what the fuck is best for your consuming ass? They did. So everything that you consume is what they tell you to justify what they want you to have and what they tell you status is. I had seen this dude that was like, it was a post where he was talking about, yeah, people talk about the hood or whatever the case may be, but you couldn't afford this car. You talk about the status and what you're able to consume. One of the biggest mind fucks, and this is not to say have bad credit or no shit like that. Yeah, have your credit, but credit is designed for the consumer. You don't realize why they make you feel so good about having good credit? You have, like, they make you feel good about good credit so you'll feel more comfortable consuming. Hey, yo, I'm not shitting on it. I'm not shitting on it. That is the meanest hustle ever because it's like, I'm going to make you feel good about consuming because you have the capacity to consume on good faith. Think about that. Credit is being able to consume on good faith. You don't even have to have the money right now, my nigga. You ain't even got to have it. I ain't mad at you. I trust you, dog. You on good. Oh, your credit 850. Your credit not even now. Credit scores are going. I remember I watched it grow. I remember there was a time when 700 was the highest credit score. Then it went to 850. Now it's 900. Who are you? What gap are y'all trying to create right now? What status gap are y'all trying to create? Yeah, I got that 850, so I can go. What's the bar? I got the 850, so I get the 850 or some shit like that. But so like what you're happy that I can fuck that I get the 1.9 interest rate because I got good credit. You're still paying more than you'll buy in the long run. Even with the interest, yeah, you got to pay your monthly payments, whatever the case may be. But it's like that is one of the biggest traps in mind fucks ever. You can consume on good faith, and people brag about that. That's ego. That's status coming in. People with bad credit be like, they be like, they try to vilify you like you're a fucked up human being. Like something's wrong with you if you got bad credit. Most people that I know that have bad credit, they can also come with a lot more money to put down to get whatever it is that they need to get. Now that should be studied. That should be studied a lot more than the fact that you got high credit and you don't have to put any money down. I know people that brag about it. Yeah, I ain't have to put no motherfucking money down because my credit good. But the person who says, I did have to put money down, but I hustled it up in 2 months. You're a producer, homie, and you don't even know it. You don't even know it. You're a producing consumer. You feel what I'm saying? People with good credits, they're consumers. Just like that's what it is. You consume on good faith. And again, please don't consider me saying have bad credit. No, motherfucker, play the game. This is a game. Like I need y'all to understand. I need y'all to understand thoroughly. This is a fucking game. A game that adults don't know how to play. You feel what I'm saying? This is a game, y'all. This is not harsh reality. This is a fucking game, like basketball, like football, like soccer. This is a fucking game. A game that is simple. You produce or you consume. And what we do is we're going to make the people who are producers, We're going to elevate them to a certain status. Or if we know that you can produce, we're going to try to extinguish that. Because the game is that easy that all you got to do is know how to produce correctly. You feel what I'm saying? But a motherfucker who only knows how to consume, we can make them believe. Like, you think the education system is not made how it is for, like, how many entrepreneurs have you ever seen invited to career day? Nigga, none. Because entrepreneurs are producers. Entrepreneurs. Hey, that might be entrepreneurs. I might coin that shit. I'm an entrepreneur. But anyway, entrepreneurs are the ones creating the jobs that they need people to fill. So that's why they have career days. You don't realize why John D. Rockefeller actually funded the education system. You know how many employees I can guarantee for the rest of my bloodline? Y'all don't have to work because of what I produced. I produced something that's going to guarantee you have all the consumers. What better way to guarantee the consumers than to convert them into consumers? I teach them that they have to buy. They have to buy. Now we create the status. And when you have the status, we're going to send them to school. Poor, middle class, low class, whatever the case may be. We're going to use it in numbers. In letters. A students, B students, C students, D students. We started classes then. A students ultimately become the people that have who believe they have a certain higher status than everybody else, which means they spend the most. Didn't even see the mind fuck, did you? Didn't even see the mind fuck, did you? The A student, ain't nothing wrong with A student. I'm an A student. I was an A student all my motherfucking life, but I saw the jig. I was like, nigga, I'm spending more money than everybody else. I got to go to college. I got to get my degree. I got to go higher up in education. They're going to get more out of me, motherfucker. And it's so subtle because all you doing is thinking you getting status. I'm a doctor, though. Bitch, do you know how much we squeezed out your ass along the way? Think about how much you consume on the quest up to be the best. But you're not producing anything. You're only consuming. You feel what I'm saying? I know I'm gonna get to the point when this becomes gluttony, but if you can't see how this is gluttony, you're likely a consumer, and you're not a producer. You feel what I'm saying? And I'm not shitting on you. I'm just saying the way the game is played. I'm just literally showing you the way the game is played. The producers are going to give to the consumers, and the consumers are going to take it all. Now, this is why you have customer service and why you have all this shit, because we need somebody for the consumers to complain to. Imagine this. Your fries, you go to McDonald's or whatever the case may be, you get some fries and they brown. You go back in, I want some hot fries. And these motherfuckers drop the same fries back in the grease and give them to you. I want fresh fries, and you mad and shit as a consumer. You ain't producing this shit. You ain't producing this shit. Consumers are very violent, and they're not producing a motherfucking thing. Have you ever paid attention to that? Producers have a lot more patience than consumers do because producers know what it takes to produce. Consumers don't. You feel what I'm saying? Imagine being so angry at a motherfucker for getting fries that weren't fresh when you don't even want to go home and heat up the grease and cook the fries your fucking self. You don't have to complain about fries not being made right. You don't have to. You can make the fucking fries yourself. But convenience. We could drive in our car. Feel me? Wait in the line. Pay for the food. Not have to worry about the cars declining or nothing. And we think that's okay because of status. You're going to make me late for work. You made yourself late for work. You didn't have to go through this line to get this coffee. You could have made coffee at home. Put the pot on while you was in the shower. Multitask. But no. You'd rather consume. You rather fucking consume. They got us. They got us like a motherfucker. How they say they got us by the balls, homie. They got us, dog. Like, you can't, because now, like I said, the celebrity. Now, the black celebrity, that is how they really hooked us in. You feel me? You feel me? I always wonder, like, why was hip hop? Why did it change to the flashy shit in the 90s and shit like that so much? Like, we had, like, the Cash Money era, when they took over for the 99 and the 2000, yo, they really took over for the 99 and 2000. Motherfuckers blowing money in the strip club. Like, think about all of the shit that we was doing. That's what celebrities get you to do. Why do all of our celebrities, especially the black males, why do all of our celebrities end up in a strip club throwing dollars at ass? like buying cars and all this shit, because now it makes you become a consumer. It makes you achieve success to consume. You see what I'm saying? I know motherfuckers who was trapping and shit. They had no goal. They just wanted the money. I had big homies that used to sell drugs and they used to trap and shit. And they'll have a good night and they'll go get gas for every. Now, I ain't mad at this. I'm not mad at this. You feel what I'm saying? This particular example I'm about to use. Like, motherfucker got drunk one night, made a pretty good night, went to the gas station and shit, and was like, yeah, all gas on me. It sound good, but nigga, you only made 2 bands tonight. That ain't a lot of money. It is when you're trapping, but that ain't a lot of money. And you gotta re-up. That ain't you gotta get some consignment now. You gotta get fronted because you fucked it up. You feel what I'm saying? But I get the gesture. You feel me? But again, this is one of the reasons why you ask black people, like, why you can't take it with you. That's the mind of a consumer. They really believe they're just gonna shit it out. And at this point, I'm not just talking about food. Can't take it with you. Just gonna go anyway because they're not producers. They're only consumers. And when you get to a certain status, you consume and hoard. You consume and hoard, and you hold on to shit. Like, one thing that people have always asked me, like, yo, why you pack light? What you mean? I don't got much shit. I don't need because all of the shit that I have that I find value in, I produce and I give it out to the world. Like cars, clothes, and shit. That doesn't mean that it doesn't really matter to me. Speaking of, and then I had a family member, ask me, what you want for Christmas? I want to get you a hoodie or something. I was like, all right, buy it from my website. Buy it for me. And why would I buy you your own? Why not, nigga? Why don't you get that? That makes no sense to buy you your own hoodie. What? Like, do you hear yourself? How does it not make sense? I want to buy you something. I don't know. If you're going to consume from me, consume something that is going to help me produce more. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm like, it showed me the gap right there. That was one of the things that conversation that I had, it made me look differently at people. It made me look differently at humans a lot, because I was like, wow, it's a gap. I'm in a whole different place now. See, when you're in the fire, like building your shit and developing, I'm going to put an episode out on my business model. It's going to be an entrepreneurs episode. I'm going to do it on business models, but because this is, it ties into this. But when you are in the trenches building your shit, you're not paying attention to a lot of shit you're not paying attention to the shit that makes no sense, right? It's only when you're actually done with certain shit that you can see the shit that don't make sense and decide. Like, so I'm like, I'm looking at myself and I'm like, wow, I am not who I was in any way, shape, or form. But at the same time, it's like, oh, all of this time I've been a producer around consumers and didn't know it. Sometimes we be feeling out of place because we are around consumers. Now, like I said, I'm gonna get to the gluttony part. But again, if you didn't catch the gluttony, nigga, like, you're a consumer. You feel what I'm saying? Gluttony is crazy because it's a deadly sin. They say if you're religious and you follow the religion, they say gluttony is one of the 7 deadly sins. Nigga, you got 10 commandments you got to follow, supposedly. The Bible talk about 630 something laws, nigga. But above that, you got 7 deadly sins. It's 7. 7 of these motherfuckers you link to. Gluttony is the one that we overlook the most because we think gluttony is just eating food. No, it's consumption. Overconsumption without production. That's what makes gluttony. Overconsumption without production. So many people consume. And that's where entitlement comes in, because it also goes into convenience. But that's where entitlement comes in. You ever heard, motherfucker? And this is how you get people like, I work too hard to not be able to enjoy myself. Okay, like, what is joy? What does it mean to enjoy yourself? How come whenever it's time to enjoy yourself, we consume? Nobody finds pleasure in producing. Sit with that. There's not many people who find pleasure in producing, only in consuming. How? Either that shit is heavily indoctrinated in programming, or it's that hard to produce some shit, or you just don't believe in yourself. I can break it down from beginning to end. If you read Sofer 3, the Tree of Life, I've been telling y'all this how they got this shit down to a science for a long time. But when you have people stuck in survival mode, the only thing they find pleasure in is in consuming. That's wild. But again, like I said, the more status you have, oh, you making this amount of money, you better leave these people alone. Or why don't you just not tell motherfuckers you got money? The fuck? Act broke. Nigga, what you mean? I worked too hard for this. I gotta have a luxury car. I gotta have this. Yeah, and when you get that car, you have to get the necessary house that can put that. I was in Philly one time, man, and this was not one time, but when I lived in Philly, when I was getting ready to come back to North Carolina, I was selling all my shit. I wasn't keeping none of that shit. Like, you feel me? I sold my bed frame, my TV stand that had a fireplace in the shit. I was selling everything. I said, I'm leaving. Yo, you should put it in storage. Fuck for, nigga. Give the shit. I don't want it. The fuck? I can't do nothing with it. I'm not gonna come back and get the shit. Fuck it. You feel me? Fuck it. I've used it for the time I was supposed to use it for. It's gone now. So one of the guys, I was selling my couch set. It was like a leather couch set, cream joint or whatever. And so I'm packing it up, and like he's like, yeah. So I get a U-Haul. I take it to him. And when I take it to him, he got a Maserati sitting in front of his crib. But he does not live where a Maserati should be. I'm like, oh. And as I'm getting the couch out and shit, and I'm taking it into his crib, consumption. It's like no space in this big ass house. I mean, the house ain't really. It was like I ain't saying it to shit on him, but the house, it was an apartment. It was, well, maybe a duplex. So it could have been a house. Maybe the Maserati was warranted. I'm saying that in the context, like, okay, here's the context in which I'm saying it. Because when I went in, there was shit everywhere. Overconsumption. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I lived in Philly, like, I had 2 plates. That's it. Motherfuckers, like, I would have motherfuckers come over and shit. And when I know they coming over, I'll go get some plastic silverware and shit like that. I'm like, going, like, you know, so like, yeah, you can get you something to drink or whatever. I bought what was in one set. So it's 4, nigga. The fuck? 4 cups, 4 plates, 4 forks, 4 knives, 4 spoons. It's just me. So when motherfuckers will come over, bro, you ain't got no cups. Yes, nigga, you don't see them 4 cups sitting right there? Dad, that's all you got? That's all I need, nigga. The fuck? Consumption. How many people actually have what they need? Better yet, how many people need what they have? You feel what I'm saying? They have us programmed according to a status that I have the luxury of being able to buy whatever I want to do. And yeah, that's cool. You can consume it, Will. You can consume when you want. When is your limit? Your status is going to dictate your limit. And we live in a society that is broken down the barriers of status now. You know how? Social media. Before, you only seen celebrities on fucking TV. Now we equate celebrity to followers. You feel me? Shorty Reed with her motherfucking finger, but because she got on a fucking bathing suit, she got over 250 followers and shit, and you think that's a fucking celebrity. You feel me? This motherfucker don't like women, but all he keep doing is shitting on women and shit, and low-key, he might be sus, and y'all keep, like, that's it, red pill, blue pill shit. Like, that's what this is. That's the new celebrity, y'all. Oh, you got over 250. I had a motherfucker once tell me, you feel me? You ain't got but 7,000 followers. Bitch, that's all the fuck I need. What the fuck is you talking about? What? Why do I need 10,000 followers? I don't know 10,000 motherfuckers. That's a small concert, bro. Sit with that. I'd freak the fuck out if I had 250,000 motherfuckers sitting in front of me right now. Not on no crazy shit, but it's like, nigga, all of these energies, 250,000 people standing in front of me just to listen to me. You can't prepare for no shit like that. But now they made it so accessible, we think it's easy. You see what I'm saying? Because of consumption. And now they make it seem, oh, damn, this person only got 80 followers. So, damn, ain't no way they winning like that. I should be doing better than that. I know I should have more followers than that. Like, y'all worried about the follow? Y'all worried about consumption. Because what do you have to do to attain those followers? You're supposed to be producing shit. Motherfuckers don't be producing shit for their followers. They just be consuming. And this is where it gets into the different levels of the consumer, because you had those people like, all my content is real. I mean, everybody's content is real, but all my content is mine. There was a time, you feel me, when I was transitioning and shit, like where I had, I was stealing other people's shit, and I had a mean run. If you hear right now, I was the caption king. I was the caption king, slide 2 motherfucker. That was me. But again, I was in a state of a consuming producer. I had not truly become a producer yet. I was a consuming producer. So I was taking people's content and using other people's content and shit like that and making my own caption shit. I said, fuck that, make your own shit. Fuck that. I'm a producer. Like, that's now in my stories, I do my consuming production. You feel me? I still do my captions and shit like that, but that's in the stories. It only lasts 24 hours. The shit that's gonna last forever, that has to be mine and mine alone. But how social media works, motherfuckers build their whole pages off of stealing tweets and taking tweets from other people. Like, you're not even using your own content. If you read Soul 3, I talked about duplicators and originators. There's a level of life that you have to go through. There's a phase and a path of the tree of life that develops you from a duplicator to an originator. You see what I'm saying? You have an emulator, a duplicator, and an originator. Like, there's levels in life that takes you to that. But a lot of people are just taking other people's shit. I know people that are building their foundations off of shit that I built, and they can't figure out why it's not, because you didn't produce that. I did. You're emulating what I produced. That's why you can't go as far as I can go with the production, because it's my production. You dig what I'm saying? So when we're considering the consuming, like social media, I ain't gonna say social media did it first. TV did it first. TV killed the radio, and then like when it was just music, like then you became the videos, and then you became like media. Now that it's at your hand, imagine how remember when I told you I got off TikTok because you go down rabbit holes and shit. It seemed good when you just watching a clip for a minute, but when you watch 60 of them bitches, you consume 60 pieces of content and learned absolutely nothing. Sit with that. All you keep hearing is get into the markets, but do you trade or do you invest? Should you do stocks, forex, crypto, or NFTs? My personal answer is not a single one if you don't know how to read a chart. Without knowing how to read a chart, you end up giving all your money to those who do. Do you know what a candle is? Do you know the pocket of activity? Do you know the difference between market direction and market control? If you answer no at least once, you might want to learn how to read a chart first. Learning how to read a chart will let you know if you should trade or invest, and if you should do stocks, forex, crypto, and or NFTs. It will also let you know if this is even for you or not. So visit IamJustSeen.com to learn how to read charts with my Mastering the Market course, ebooks, and webinars today. The world is changing. The question is, will you adapt with it? Sit with that. I'm going to show y'all something, right? I'm going to show y'all how consumption works and how you can hold on to consumption for so long, because you can hear hit the bucket. Wait, what's the fucking song? It's like put the switch on the thunder when something puts a round sound. You already seen some ass shaking in your head right now, didn't you? You seen some motherfuckers shaking their ass right now. Pussy cat on my lap and something makes a round sound. Like, you seen some ass shaking. You know you did. I did. As I said the shit, I can picture which ones I saw. You feel what I'm saying? Consumption. We think social media, we think the algorithm is the algorithm. No, we know what you consume. We know what you're gonna consume, so we're gonna make sure you consume it. Instagram fucks what I fuck Instagram up all the time because Instagram doesn't know how to keep my algorithm straight. Because I understand the algorithm. I understand the algorithms are based off consumption. That's it. That's why I be fucking pissed off with whoever one of you motherfuckers keeps putting that girl in my, not that girl, that woman in my fucking explore page who cheated on her husband in Jesus' name. Y'all need to stop liking her shit. Why are y'all consuming her shit? Whoever, I don't know. I'm saying it because I know it's one of my followers. It got to be, it got to be somebody that I fuck with too. Because and if I fuck with you and you fuck with me, then that means you probably listen to the podcast. So it's probably you. You probably listening to the shit. And if this is you that is doing this, why are you consuming this information? Like, what does it get you? This is a real question. I can't get you to answer it to me, but what does it get you? Because now you have to look at this from a bigger perspective when we're bringing it back into the podcast space. What does consuming this get me? Because now, when you're eating food for fuel. Supposed to. Because in Hitting the Raw, I broke this down. When you're eating food, it's for the nutrients, vitamins, minerals, lipids, fats, carbohydrates. No, lipids are fats. Vitamins, minerals, lipids, proteins, nucleic acids, and carbohydrates. That's what you're supposed to be getting into your body so your shit can function straight. But all you eating the shit is for is because it tastes good. And then when we look at what we eat as far as what tastes good, it's either going to be sweet or savory. Nobody eat bitter shit no more. That's why bitter truths are what they are. But don't nobody eat bitter shit. We rarely eat sour shit. So we only operate on mainly, and we only consume salty and sweet shit predominantly. That's what they make us consume. Do you know why they make us consume that? Because that's what feeds fucking cancer. I said it in a jam session that I'm probably going to drop a little bit later. I was saying that I said something about like bitters I alleviate cancer. And if you know bitters, then you know bitters. No. Something I was like, and if you know bitters, then you know bitters alleviate cancer, which means what at least bring peace and dismantles illusions, mind fornications, and some shit. I would have to go through the whole shit to know what I was talking about at that point. But anyway, the point that I was saying was bitters, because bitters alleviate cancer because they starve what is fed. This is what the purpose of what fasting is about. Fasting isn't about depriving yourself. Fasting isn't like when we look at, fasting is spiritual, it's religious, it's this, that, and the third. No, fasting is pausing fucking consumption, greedy. The fuck. It's not mystical. It's not spiritual. It's not anything cosmic. It's not that high. It's not something that you have to sit and, no, it's stopping to consume so much. When you cannot take a fast, when you are when you are unable to fast, you are gluttonous. You are a glutton. When you are unable to fast, that means you cannot stop consuming. You feel what I'm saying? So now you have to look at what it is that you're consuming on a regular basis. I'm not just talking about food. And that's the problem. When we talk about gluttony, we only look at food. No, gluttony is about overconsumption, period. Streaming music is a reality. Now, here's where it gets fucked up because the artist ain't getting paid no more. Cause nigga, you was never supposed to get paid. The fuck? Why are you mad now? You're the artist. That's it. I'm producing everything else on the backside of this. The business, all of that shit, I'm producing it. You're the artist. You're just going to make the art. So I'm going to sell it. Now art is streaming. Now the music streams, homie. Now the TV shows stream. And the production is so fucking trash because everybody's consuming so much. They're going to say, hey, let's just let them consume another sequel. They got Toy Story 5 coming out. Nobody want to see that shit. The fuck? By Toy Story 5, Andy's a grown fucking man. Why are you still in? How in the fuck does he still have Woody and Buzz? Nigga, you supposed to throw them away at 11. He's a grown ass motherfucking man with those two toys still. You didn't lose them at least once. You didn't leave them on the fucking playground at least once. You weren't no fucking real kid. They keep remaking shit because they know what consumption is. It's the cheat code. When they came out with Lion King, we knew that we ain't know it was gonna be some bullshit. We're gonna do the live action Lion King. See how it works. And it was trash, but you consumed it. It didn't taste good. So we know not to consume that. We know not to produce that again for you to consume. But we're gonna keep making these remakes. Fucking Beverly Hills Cop, 4 or some shit coming out? Nigga, no, Eddie, stop. Cut it the fuck out. What are you doing Beverly Hills Cop for? The time in which you was in that window for Beverly Hills Cop, you're not that person no more. I get it. It's action-packed. I haven't seen the movie, but I get it. It's like, okay, but you're relying on the name. That's not production. That's duplication. And in duplication, you're feeding the consumers that you know will come back. You're not even going towards new consumers. But again, we're going to eat the shit up. Consumers going to eat that shit the fuck up every fucking time. And that shit's scary. Like, that shit should make you wonder, like, if the gap got so wide that they have to go back to constantly producing old shit for you to consume. Y'all ain't worried about that? Not even a little bit. When I can no longer produce anything for you to consume and I can only consume what's already been produced, where's the world going? Like, think about it. There was an ebb and flow where there was production and consumption. There's nothing new being produced. We eating the same shit. I fuck with the song. What's her name? Lola Brooke and Bryson Tiller. I fuck with the song, but nigga, that's Foxy Brown in the 90s. Same song. Which is also who? Gene, not Gene Wilder, Eugene something. But Who Do You Love? Like, damn. The sample was a good idea, but now we're consuming what we already ate. At this point, we eating leftovers. On some real shit. We eating motherfucking leftovers. Day in and day out. At some point, you got those leftovers away, right? You feel me? Y'all ain't still eating the same food off of Thanksgiving. Y'all ain't still eating that same food off of Christmas. The black eyed peas is almost gone. You better throw those away. But when it comes to everything else of consumption of the mind, consumption of the spirit, we're consuming the same shit. I was talking to somebody because, holidays, they fuck with me. And I don't know why. I be like, yo, y'all leave me alone, bro. Like, you feel me? Oh, the devil and this, that, and the third. And I'm like, yo, I don't have to fuck. Like, y'all, we've been consuming the same shit for 500 years and haven't gotten it yet. I'm sorry. I'm not eating it no more. There's no nutrition in there for me. I get it. Respectfully, y'all can have what y'all have. Y'all can continue to consume what you consume. For me, I've already consumed it and digested it. And I don't want any more. But you have to keep consuming it and consuming it and consuming it because you can't produce nothing with it and you're not producing a life with it. You're giving this to consume so you stop producing. Don't nobody realize that part. This is why I had to change it from eating to consuming. Niggas is spiritually obese. Niggas spiritually got high blood pressure. Niggas spiritually got diabetes. Niggas spiritually got cancer. The fuck? Because they're over consuming and not producing anything. You feel what I'm saying? This is why I'm big on studying the antithesis. The antithesis will be the opposing point that helps you produce. You feel what I'm saying? I was talking to somebody about they were, talking about religion and shit. They told me, I was like, yo, you fear hell. You don't love your deity. You fear hell. No, I don't. Because you consumed enough. Enough of what you consumed has programmed your mind to realize that you have to behave a certain way just so you don't go to hell. Not to actually be a person. Not to actually be a good person. Not to actually fulfill your purpose. Not to actually fulfill your fucking purpose. But to just make sure you live a life that doesn't send you to hell. Nigga, what the fuck does that mean? What does that look like? Because you have to know what the fuck hell looks like. Imagine. Fuck the food that we eating, the empty food that we eating, like physically. Think about the spirituality side of it all. We are consuming shit we can't verify. And we're calling it fact. You feel what I'm saying? I got people telling me right now, I'm like, yo, everything that you say is demonic in me is in the Bible. Everything that you're saying that I practice, that I do is demonic, it's in the Bible. That's where I got it from. But because I understand what I was consuming and I digested it properly, anabolism and catabolism, I was able to build it back up. These motherfuckers don't have efficient spiritual metabolisms. Now we getting somewhere. I know it took long enough, but we got here. People have inefficient spiritual and mental metabolisms. Why? Because you've been told to believe and trust all your life. And don't argue. Don't go back. Like, imagine somebody telling you how to digest your food. That's what happens. You read this, don't question this, don't ask me no questions, don't ask me why, whatever the case may be. Why is the number one reason why. The word why, the absence of using it and the absence of its essence is the number one reason why people cannot consume and produce correctly. The attempt at breaking down, the attempt at metabolizing what you consume mentally is to ask questions. Sit with that. Mental metabolism is asking fucking questions. When was the last time you asked a fucking question and felt comfortable with it? When was the last time you asked enough questions to digest your fucking food? You feel me? Just because we got, we got the enzymes, I'm gonna put it in the mouth. You feel me? Put it on the physical side. We got the lipases to break down the fats. We got the proteases to break down the proteins, nucleases to break down the nucleic acids. We got the amylases to break down the sugars and shit, right? Mentally, what are your proteins? What are your enzymes that are breaking down your shit? Questions, motherfucker. Why, where, when, how, to what extent? These are enzymes that help you mentally digest shit. They stop you from asking questions, just tell you to fucking accept this shit. Anytime, and now on the spiritual side, you have to be able to digest mentally before you can ever digest spiritually. And by spiritually, you just gotta have faith, nigga. What? What kind of shit is that? What kind of shit is that, homie? So now when you consume and you consume and you consume, but you do not digest your shit, where does it go? To your unconscious mind. You really think you just be out here doing shit for no one? You think you do stupid shit randomly? No, you're unconsciously programmed to do stupid shit. Why? Because you never digested the stupid shit that you consumed. Now you consume it every fucking day. Everything you see, everything you hear. That's the reason why the area between the throat chakra and the brow chakra are so important, because it's based off what you see and what you hear and what you speak. That whole region is very powerful, because now, this is why I would say your throat chakra is blocked by the lies you hear and the lies you tell. When you consume so much, you don't fact check shit. This is one of the reasons why y'all hear me say, and I don't think I said it in a long time on a podcast, assume that I'm fucking lying and go fact check me. Don't let me feed you all of this shit and you can't digest it. And you refuse to digest it. Go let your enzymes work. Go ask why. Go ask where. Go ask when. Go ask to what extent. You ain't got to ask me. You got Google in your motherfucking hand. Right now, you're listening to my podcast likely from your smartphone. Ain't nothing stopping you from hitting pause and Googling the shit that I'm talking about. Nothing at all. And if you're not hitting pause and Googling the shit that you have never heard before, are not familiar with. Now, granted, some of y'all have been here since day one. So a lot of the shit that I've said is compounded. Y'all have heard me say this before. But again, at some point, if you are not reflecting on and researching and digesting what the fuck I'm allowing you to consume, we got a problem. We got a motherfucking problem, because now you become a follower to me. You're no longer a traveler. You are a follower. My travelers think. My travelers consume what the fuck I give them, and they digest that shit and say, hey, I didn't like the taste of that. That's cool. I ain't mad at you. Why didn't you like the taste of it? Well, because when I consume that shit, it cool. Don't consume it no fucking more. Not to be rude or no shit like that, but I'm real shit. If I digest something that does not do right for me, or does, like, even with food, if I'm allergic, like, you can digest some shit that you're fucking allergic to right now on a mental level and don't even know that you're allergic to the shit. All you know is your mental health is going haywire. So they're gonna give you some fucking medicine for the shit. Y'all motherfuckers really be thinking y'all got ADHD and anxiety and all of this shit, not realizing the contextualization of what it is. What you're consuming is causing that. Why? Because you're not able to quell that energy. You don't know how to digest that shit, so you're consuming it. Motherfuckers they tell you to keep planning for the fucking future. For what? That's consumption. You constantly consume fear all day long. You know why you consume fear? Because fear is a lack of understanding. Everything you consume mentally, you do not ask questions on how to solve. The first question that gets us to where we need to be is why. That we stop asking. We get shut down from asking why in our own homes. Why would we ask why in school? You don't think that's an accident? Like they purposely designed it for it to be aligned this way. You feel me? I don't make the rules. I just report them. You feel what I'm saying? They purposely make this shit this way. You feel what I'm saying? Your first 5 years of school, you get your parents are your parents are, you feel me? They are they are still trying to figure shit out. So they can only feed you what they've consumed before. Now, they haven't digested what they've consumed, but they're gonna feed it to you as if it's digested. Now, when you're trying to consume this shit, why? Don't ask me why, because I said so, because I don't motherfucking know. And because I don't motherfucking know, I'm gonna do stupid shit. And now, as a child, you stop asking why, which means what? You stop digesting your food. You eat it. You eat it. Now you just trust that the motherfucker that's feeding it to you is giving it to you right. You eat that shit. You consume the fuck out of it. You dig what I'm saying? You consume the fuck out of it. And in consuming the fuck out of it, you don't digest it. You don't ask why. That's why when a motherfucker finally had a earth, when they motherfuckers finally had a whys answered, they lose their shit. A lot of people be thinking they lost their mind. You didn't lose the mind, you lost the programming, nigga. Your computer crashed. That's all. Reset that bitch. You got to reset that bitch. But now when you reset that bitch, you got to wipe the hard drive clean. That's why a lot of people make you feel like you're crazy. I say it all the time, and I'm comfortable saying this shit because it's hilarious. I'm like, I'm crazy as fuck, but I'm not insane. My hard drive got wiped clean. And I reinstalled a new operating system. You feel what I'm saying? You the one that's going fucking crazy because you keep adding shit to a crashed fucking computer. Your shit crashed a long fucking time ago, but you keep saying it's not crashed. You keep trying to make sense of the crash of your computer. Think about that. Niggas' computers crashed a long time ago mentally. You feel what I'm saying? Because they just kept consuming, and because they got all kind of viruses on their shit. Feel me? Let's take it back. I love, man, bro. I'm telling you, I love my metaphors, bro. Think about LimeWire. How much music did you download and how many viruses came with that shit? You consumed a lot. You consumed a lot, but you got a lot of viruses and shit too. Why? Because you didn't know what a virus was. I mean, well, you knew, but you didn't know how to check for a virus. You didn't know how viruses could be attached to music. You didn't know how viruses was in these files. You never asked any these fucking questions. You just kept consuming. You didn't have protection on your shit. You didn't have no firewalls up. None of that shit. You don't think that's the case mentally? When you're not asking questions, asking why and shit, now you ask a motherfucker why, and now they start taking it personal, like you trying to offend them and shit. Like, you don't trust me? No, nigga, I don't trust nobody. I was talking to somebody the other day, and I was like, I don't believe in shit. And what they thought was they missed the reality. They like, oh, you must. No, I don't believe in the devil. I don't worship the devil. I don't believe in it. I believe in nothing, because belief is a form of trust. I don't believe in anything. I understand everything that comes in and out of my mind. You know why? Because I digest that shit. Y'all always hear me say this shit. I ask who, what, why, where, when, how, and to what motherfucking extent. I can, if I'm speaking on some shit, understand I can answer all of those questions for you. Not only ask them, I can answer those questions for you, and I can go in depth with it. You feel me? I had another person ask me one time. They was like, yo, how do you have so many podcast episodes with such long content? Because I know what the fuck I be talking about, man. I don't need another person to bounce ideas off of. I don't need all this shit. I am a producer. I'm not a consumer. I'm not a producing consumer. That's another thing. That's what a lot of these podcast people are. They're producing consumers. They see a little bit of information and they go make an episode. They stay in the moment. That's why my shit is timeless. I'm a producer for real. My shit is timeless. You can hear my shit, and then it's like it's gonna stand the test of time. When you hear these other episodes and shit of people, when you other podcasters and shit, you know the moment that they were in, because they were using certain words and all of this shit is the same shit, bro. Because they're producing consumers. Yeah, you can make content, but you're making content that was already spoken on. That's why the same conversation is floating around this motherfucker, bro. You feel me? Because again, this is how we are. We're divided into consumers and producers, and we don't know it. And you have the producing consumers. That's who you following. Nigga, that's a consumer too. They don't know what the fuck going on. But again, when we constantly see what's in our minds and we're not digesting it with the questions. Now, this goes into, well, if that's the case, then how are you supposed to digest spiritually? You got to go to the tree of life for that. Anybody that's read Sofer 3 and you got to that tree of life, you know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. Unblocking your chakras, that's how you digest spiritually. I was just talking to another person over the, feel me? Oh, chakras are demonic, nigga. All right, wait till you read Revelations and see what them seven seals really are, nigga. All right, homie. All right, nigga. If you think chakras are evil, nigga, shit, that battle's gonna be crazy when them seven seals break. You feel what I'm saying? But I can't get mad at people who don't know shit. You feel me? Somebody asked me like, "Why don't you?" I said because I reached a point in my life where I've learned calculus. I'm not about to talk about arithmetic. I don't give a fuck if you do bring up the conversation of math. We can be talking about math, but if I've already gone through calculus and you're still at arithmetic, why the fuck would I talk to you? I don't want to talk about arithmetic. It's trash to me now. But that's everything to you. I'm not mad at that. But again, I've consumed something different and I've digested it better. When it comes to math, I've consumed calculus. When it comes to math, you've consumed arithmetic. Don't come to me saying like I know math. No, you don't. You know that aspect of it. And then did you digest it correctly? You feel what I'm saying? And that's the thing that get me. Everybody's consuming mentally and spiritually and shit. And they're like, yo, but they're not digesting it because they don't know how. Mental digestion is simply asking questions. You ain't got anxiety for no reason. You got anxiety because you have too many questions and not enough answers. I'm not saying anxiety isn't real. I'm telling you why it is real. Why are you anxious about the future? Because you have more questions than you have answers. The future is not something that falls into you. You create it. The future is created by producers. Everything you produce makes your future. I know every single day that what I'm going to do is going to lead me to something else. There's no happenstance. There's no questions in my mind about shit that I have. So when people ask me like, how do I beat anxiety or shit like that? I answer the questions that are in my fucking head. When those thoughts come up, like sometimes it's not in the form of a question, but it came up. You got to ask yourself, why did this come into my mind? What we try to do, silence the shit. You feel me? When I first learned how to meditate, when I first learned how to meditate, everybody was trying to convince me that meditation was, silence your mind. No, nigga, let your mind play. And let the things in your mind come to it and simply ask questions. Why is this in my head? Why am I hearing this? Case in fucking point. I just got word. This was a download that came into me. And I got excited because it was just so powerful. It hit me so head. Like there will be songs that I would hear in my head. It didn't matter what the song was. It could be a gospel song. It could be R&B. It could be rap, whatever. A song would come into my head and it won't leave. And I didn't know why. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Now, this particular song was Computers Rule the World or God is Still in Control by the Clark Sisters, right? Something I grew up on as a kid, right? I'm going to tell you when it really, really resonated. And I just got this revelation an hour before I started recording this podcast. That's why I got so excited. So in it, I'm like, yo, why do these songs come up to me? So I was thinking back to when I used to write all the time and shit. Like I only wrote freestyles to songs that stayed in my head. So it'd be like, yo, I need you to write to this. And so now I'm in the space of doing jam sessions. So one of the most recent jam sessions that is doing the most right now is my one on Body Count. Body Count, that song, I produced the beat or whatever, but the original, the reason, the writing for that, the inspiration was off of Jade's I Wanna Love You. You feel me? From Class Act. So that song kept playing in my head. And I was like, all right, fuck it. I don't know why it's in my head. I'm gonna write to it. So I wrote to it. And that came out. And I in that moment, I wrote exactly what needed to be said at the time. That's Body Count is a jam session that ends with no wonder why y'all always bitching about the body count, because y'all was never in the body count. And it starts off with stop assuming that if you cannot seduce him, he gave you out here worried about a table with no food on your plate. Right? So that came. So now another song that came to my head was Climax. What's the group? The Men Are Paused. Now, the first time that song came to me, I was watching Snowfall. And it came to me and I just felt it instantly. But it's that. So I was like, all right, bam. So I wrote another one to that. Now that one I haven't dropped yet, so I'm not gonna give any points from that. But that one I wrote to that. And when I finished writing it, it was like, I was supposed to write that shit. So the song, God is in Control by the Clark Sisters came into my head. And I'm like, yo, why the fuck? I don't even fuck with this shit no more. But then it hit me. It's not the songs, it's not the beat. Because as I make these beats, as I write to the songs, I use the tempo of the song. And I'm like, Oh, the song comes into my head because I need to use that tempo to make whatever it is this download needs to be. And that's because of asking questions. You see what I'm saying? When you ask the questions, when the shit hits your mind, and I said that point to go back to the meditation. When your mind gets filled with shit, ask the fucking question why. What is this trying to teach me? What is this showing me? Where is this hurting at? What is this, that, and the third? To what extent? Ask these fucking questions and get the fucking answers. That's how you make the shit stop. Feel me? Tying it back into the anxieties of the future. I don't have anxieties of the future because I create the shit. I know what future I want. I'm not relying on hope no more. That's a consumer's mentality. I'm consuming all of this shit with the hope that it doesn't kill me. No, I know this shit ain't gonna kill me because I know the fuck I'm consuming. I ain't about to eat no fucking arsenic, nigga. Fuck. Y'all niggas got me fucked all the way up. You feel what I'm saying? But when you always consume, you don't know what you don't when you always consume and you never produce, you don't know that point and why something was produced for you to consume. That's something that really changed my life when I started asking that question. Why is this produced for me to consume? Because when I started learning branding and marketing and shit like that, when they say shit sell itself, that's a real reality. But when shit don't sell and I got to convince you to buy it, why? That's branding. Branding is when it's not. Branding is when I have to get you. Well, no, that's marketing. Well, branding. They are about one and the same. Branding, marketing. I shouldn't open that door, but I opened it now. So let me walk through the shit. So the marketing is convincing, is creating the belief of it, right? The advertising is showing what that belief is, and the branding is making sure you don't forget the belief. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like when you have to market and advertise and brand something, that means it's not going to sell itself. But at the same time, as the producer, you have to figure out how to make people consume it. You see what I'm saying? Now, I have to be able to digest it. I have to be able to make it digestible for you without you digesting it. That's where the mind fuck comes in. Like religion, school, all of that shit. You know how many motherfuckers think they smart because they got an A, but they didn't digest none of the information? I talk to people, they like, how do you still remember shit from organic chemistry? How do you still remember shit from physics? How do you still remember shit from 5th grade math? Cause nigga, I digested the shit. I didn't know that that's what I was doing, but now I can put that to the words. I digested it. I used to ask a lot of questions. Every time I got in trouble in school was for talking too much, but it wasn't really talking. It's like he asked too many questions. Bitch, I'm here for that. Because I wasn't a person who was going to be indoctrinated. Couldn't be. Because I was always asking questions. Because when it's all said and done, I need to know exactly what the fuck is going into my cabeza. Because we don't ask these questions now when it comes to spirituality, we just accept the shit. Your spirituality is affected because the religion controls your mind. Religion has nothing to do with your it has nothing to do with your spirituality. Religion has everything with making sure your mind cannot think beyond a certain capacity. That's power. I'm going to get you to consume something that makes sure you can't think. Sit with that. I'm mentally going to make you consume something that makes sure you don't think. Ask any religious person, they'll say you're questioning God. When you question their religion, they'll tell you that you're questioning God and you're not. When you say that you have to follow the will of a deity, but you cannot understand the mind of that deity, that's a problem. That's control. Whoever convinced you that that was okay, that's controlling. Because you mean to tell me that I'm creating the image and likeness of something. If I can't understand that thing, I will never understand myself. That means whoever on the outside is telling me about this thing, they're going to tell me about myself. They're going to tell me who I am. So I don't really be giving a fuck when motherfuckers be on that bullshit no more. When it comes to like how religious shit plays out anymore. Because I know you don't know. I know what you consumed. You feel me? I had a motherfucker tell me one time this, and it was like old head too. I was like, yo, I know what you don't know what I know. And I said, that's a problem. Because if you're my big homie, you're my OG and shit, and you had this information and I had to go find it myself, you're selfish and you fucked up. Oh, nah, that's not. You can't backpedal now. Either I don't know what you know, or, you know what I'm saying? Either we're going to stick to that, I don't know what you know, or we got to accept that because I don't know what you know, you failed to give it to me. Or you don't know it. One of the two. It can't be both. Either you truly don't know it and I'm right about that shit, or you do know it and you were selfish and kept the shit. You feel what I'm saying? I've dealt with so many motherfuckers like that. And it's like, yo, I don't get upset no more, bro. I used to be like, I used to wonder why I was try to, like when you're a producing consumer, you try to defend the shit. You want people to see, like, no, I'm not consuming shit no more. I'm not consuming this shit no more because I know what a consumer is. Now I'm a producer. So now I float between producer, and consuming producer. I still go in and study. I still go in and learn, but now I learn it from a perspective of I'm intentionally gonna produce with this shit. You feel me? Understand? I said I'm a consuming producer, not a producing consumer. There's a difference. You feel me? This is why I'm 12. This is why I'm 12. I'm 12. I guess I must be ready for season 12 too. This is why I'm 11 seasons in, but I have not been 11 years in this podcast. When it's all said and done, like, yo, it's gonna fuck people up because, like, when the years go down the line and I got like 50 fucking seasons, and they're like, this nigga ain't even 50 years old. How the fuck do you have 50 seasons of a podcast and you're not even 50 years old? Duh. Seasons are relative, if you ask me. I feel like the season, I really record them within a season. Nigga, I got the winter season, fall season. I usually run through 2 seasons a year. So that's how long the podcast. I take a break. I go when I want to go. These are my seasons. This is my production. Y'all gotta consume it. You feel what I'm saying? They're not teaching us this. They're not allowing us to actually have this. They want the world of consumers. And when he said, I want a world full of things, it's like, and it gets me because I know a lot of people who consume a lot of information, they don't digest shit. They don't digest shit. All they can do is regurgitate the information. That's why they can't produce shit with it. Again, I'm not trying to toot my own horn or, you know what I'm saying, be on no shit like that. But the podcast is one of the main things. But within the podcast, it's like, all right, bet. Within the podcast space, it's like, this is how I got to move. All of the shit that I'm able to give y'all is because of what I consumed and learned from. I consumed and digested it. And I was like, I got to get this shit the fuck out. There's some shit that I'm still sitting on that's still digesting. You feel what I'm saying? Even let's consider digestion too. Within the human body, you digest in certain parts. You got large intestine, small intestine, thing like that. You don't think that applies to the mind and the soul. Now, I'm not saying you got an intestine, but I mean metaphorically, of course. You feel what I'm saying? Some people will never truly access spirituality because of the limitations that they have on their mind. The mind is that powerful. Now, when I talk about the mind having 4 levels to it, belief, well, you have the belief, knowledge, wisdom, understanding. You have the 3 modalities: conscious, subconscious, unconscious. It's one more that I always talk about. And then you have the duality of the mind, where you have the duality of the mind, which is emotions and thoughts. The mind is the bridge between the body and the soul, between action and will. You have not even accessed spirituality if you have not gone through and unblocked your whole mind. So again, when you're digesting, is this something in the unconscious mind, subconscious mind, or the conscious mind? What level of the mind is this? Is this belief, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding? You know how many motherfuckers have no knowledge because they only have belief? This is why I always say you got to be willing to study the antithesis. When it comes to religion, everybody talks about, I know the word, I know this, that, and the third. I keep hearing people and they throw shots. I don't care because it's like, they be like, yo, the devil knows the word. I said, yeah. How you know he ain't teach it to you? It's good. It's cool when you want to try to call me the devil worshiper and shit, without even knowing what the fuck that it is that I got going on. You feel me? But you can only operate from what you've consumed, and you have not digested any of what you consume. Blows they motherfucking mind when I tell them to read Psalms 82:6 or John 10:34. What does that mean? You never heard those? Those verses say you are gods, nigga. But all you can see is the devil. But you still want to be a child. Okay, be a child then, nigga. I'm a grown ass fucking man. For baby God becomes an adult God. What the fuck is it, nigga? You feel me? But again, it's how you're taught to consume. Because the belief is the first part. If you cannot understand the first level of the mind belief, you'll never be able to tap into your unconscious mind to change it. You'll never be able to tap into your subconscious mind to change it. You only can function on your conscious mind, and you functioning on your conscious mind from the level of belief, my nigga. You don't even go through the antithesis. That's why only people think they're gaining information because they're only consuming what supports what they already have consumed. No, if you're going to eat sugar, you need to eat bitters, nigga. Motherfucker just want sugar. And what happens when you consume too much sugar? You just get cancer. you keep feeding the fucking cancer. Simple. That's why there's 5 flavors. I talk about this and hitting it raw. Now, that's another thing. Motherfuckers is like, yo, hitting it raw. How did you condense that shit? Cause I know what I consumed, nigga, and I know what I digested, and I was able to produce from it. Can't produce when you haven't digested anything because you ain't got no raw materials. That's what they want. Because now we can bring it back and full circle it and try to wrap this up. That's how convenience is that's how convenience becomes a thing. Because you're ignorant and lazy. I know you're ignorant and lazy because I know how to program your mind. I know what you're consuming. I'm literally making you consume the exact things that are going to make you be lazy and do nothing. Because you're not going to ask questions. You're not going to do the necessary shit. So now what is you going to do? I'm going to feed you. I'm going to clothe you. I'm going to give you a house. I'm going to give you your car. But I'm going to make you pay for it so you can feel good about yourself. I'm going to take a piece off of what you pay. But I'm going to make you feel good about yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because now I'm going to elevate you to a specific status and make you consume more for me. The budget is an amazing thing. I'm not knocking it or anything like that, but look at what your budget is. Actually, like semantics are crazy. That's why the English language is so beautiful because they give you so many different words that you can decorate so many. They give you a plethora of words that mean the same thing, so you can have a plethora of details that'll never get you to the true principle. But the budget is the allotted amount that you have to consume. Your budget is the allotted amount that you have to consume. How much of your budget is designed to consume shit that benefits you? I get it. You got your house, your car, and all of that shit. I ain't gonna say benefits you. Improve you. Most of what our budget is to ensure that we can continue to consume or continue to go be productive for somebody else. And that's another thing. They teach us to be productive on the job rather than being able to produce our own work. Production is art. You feel me? It's art. To be able to produce is art, but being productive is the illusion that you are producing art. You're not. You're not. You're productive on the job or whatever the case may be. Now you're going to go consume. Now you're going to go consume more. Then they're going to mark the consumer reports. You never notice they never have a producer report. They do, actually. It's called a stock market. That's where the producers are at. I'm going to give y'all the game and I'm going to wrap it up for real. This is the end right here. Because y'all heard, if you in EWE, if you've been fucking with me, you know what I'm about to say. You know where I'm about to go, right? The markets, stocks, Forex, crypto, it don't matter, nigga. The markets are where the producers, the markets are where the data of the producers is. It's the markets are the producers report. They're not going to call it the producer report because they're going to call it the stock market. They're going to call it Forex or whatever the case may be. So the producers, the information of what the producers are producing and how it's relating to the consumers is listed in the stock market. When the stock market goes down, the producers, when the stock market goes now, see the producers, and now here's the thing. This is powerful. Fuck with me. The producers are the buffer between the consumer and the control. Right? You have producers and consumers or whatever the case may be. But there's somebody controlling the producers. Somebody's controlling the producers in the context in which makes the markets move. Let me say it like that. No, run it back. I'm not going to say it like that because I'm going to stick to it and make it connect to everything. It's Forex and all this stuff too. So the stock market is the evaluation of the producer. It's the producer's report, right? When a stock drops, right? Partially it's because the consumers don't want the stock anymore. When the stock drops, the consumers aren't consuming. But because the consumers aren't consuming, the dollar is getting stronger. That's where Forex comes in. You feel what I'm saying? When the stocks go up, the consumers are consuming, which means the dollar is getting weaker. You feel me? Again, that's where Forex comes in. Now, the trick, and where you find it in the middle, is when you understand Forex and you say when the dollar is strong, and when you can anticipate, 'cause this is what we do. Shout out to the Iwi gang. When you begin to anticipate that the dollar is strong and the consumers no longer want to consume, you sell. When you start to see, when you anticipate that the dollar is weak and the consumers want to consume, you buy. The production has already happened. That's what the producers have already done. All they have to do is produce. Everything else works. Nike just has to make shoes now. That's it. Nike just has to make shoes now. Everything else does by itself. When they say, we're not buying shoes this week. Okay, cool. Now we just got to make this shit match. When the dollar is when the dollar is strong and they want to consume, it's going to fluctuate. When the dollar is weak and they don't want to consume, it's going to range out. But you just need the opposite to figure this shit out. This is the reason why when the Forex shit hit, it failed so bad. Forex works beautifully, but because they started off with MLM shit, because motherfuckers didn't know what they was doing, it tore the game apart. Because if you ever understand Forex, you will be free from the bondage, because you no longer have to be a consumer or a producer. You let them do this shit for you. That's it. So this is how I teach it in the Iwi. This is how I teach it in Mastering the Market. This is why I teach it this way, because I seen the game. I seen it. I consumed it. I digested it, and then I produced off of it. And I said, hey, y'all, this is really how it has to be. If you made it this far, go click the link in my bio. Go to IamJustSeeing.com. Go to the Mastering the Market and look at the webinar. You'll see I do this shit in 30 fucking minutes. And I can tell you exactly what's going to happen because I understand the science behind this shit. Because I've digested it. I've gone to the who's, what's, when's, where's, why's, how, to what extent. The people that just followed the MLMs, they were consumers. They were consumers who did not digest shit. And they could not digest shit because what they were giving you was indigestible. Gotta ask yourself that shit too. How much of the shit that you consume is purposely so it's like, think about it. As humans, we're lactose intolerant. We can't digest milk. Why? Because we don't have a lactase enzyme. How much information do you consume that does not have a mental enzyme for you to digest? How much shit spiritually does not have an enzyme for you to digest it? Start asking yourself these fucking questions, yo. Like, really, when you have mental shit that has it cannot be digested, why are you continuing to consume it? For example, when it comes to religion, when people say, every time I read it, I get something new, or I can't understand why are you consuming something that is telling you that you're not supposed to understand it? If that's not the promotion of confusion, I don't know what the fuck is. But when you're being told and you're being taught continuously day in and day out that you're supposed to consume some shit that can't be digested, what the fuck do you think happens to you? You get fat. You get diseased. A lot of times we think mental health is just emotional. No, mental health comes from bad mental health comes from continually consuming shit that you can't digest. Niggas can't digest death, nigga. You can't continue, but we've gotten so used to it, normalized, because we watch it in the movies. We watch a motherfucker get the head peeled off. But we watch it as forms of entertainment. And our minds, our unconscious mind say, oh, that's not real. That's not real. But you're really seeing the shit. So now when you see when you see some shit flash on the news, a motherfucker really die and shit like that, nigga, if you noticed, they don't put black people back to sleep so much, you notice nobody's dying anymore. They used to show us the killings on Instagram. We used to see it. You know why they did that shit? Because again, it's like I was saying in the jam session. The same shit they did with Marcus Garvey and the UNIA in 1918, 1917 with the Spanish flu. They did the same shit with COVID. COVID had to hit because what was happening, they weren't killing us fast enough to scare us. You feel me? You can't scare a motherfucker into fear of dying or death when we're numb to it. We see it all the time. We watch these heavy movies. We watch Power. We watch Snowfall. We watch these shows where motherfuckers getting their brains blown the fuck out. You think when you see the shit in real life, it's going to happen? No, it's the same shit. I get it that in context that this is something different. You feel me? So you can't digest that shit. You don't digest that shit. You're not supposed to. But because you consume it so much, that when it's time to really be consumed, it completely goes over your head. When they seen that shit and said, oh, these niggas ain't scared no more. Look at the timeline, y'all. Look at the timeline. Now I get it, America. Oh, the pandemic hit that world. Yes, because niggas do not want niggas to do what niggas gonna do. And when I said niggas, I was talking about two different people, both different times. But here's what I mean by that. That shit would never have hit the way that it did because we was thriving regardless. Our music was changing. Everything. Again, same shit happened in 1919 and all that shit. What happened right after the Spanish flu hit? The Harlem Renaissance. Do you think that was an accident? What happened with the Harlem Renaissance? That changed the game. From the Harlem Renaissance led to the Tulsa, Oklahomas and things like that. They were never going to let that shit happen again, especially not in a time when they couldn't control it. So again, they sent another flu. You don't find it odd that the first people that they wanted to get tested with the shit was us, not nobody else. Black people have the higher proclivity for this, that, and the third. They make it seem like something was wrong with us. No, they wanted to get us off the game because killing us wasn't working no more. George Floyd, he's my family. You feel what I'm saying? But the shit had been happening so much I was numb to it. It's like, nigga, so nigga, this is what they do to us. And when they realized it was so, nigga, this is what they do to us. And it wasn't stopping shit no more. They had to shut everything down. That's when they released the flu, because now we also know what you consumed as far as religion goes. We know we got y'all still believing y'all are in the last days of the last days. You feel me? Niggas was scared. And now I reset the whole shit again. Gods are back to niggas. Goddesses are back to bitches now. When was the last time you heard a podcast episode, anything on nation building? When was the last time you seen a meme or a post on nation building? When were you seeing something on black love and all that shit? When have you seen that? It used to be flooded between 2016 and 2020. 2020 hit, and then what happened? Shit changed, nigga. They erased the shit. They knew what the fuck they was doing. Same shit every 4 years. Because we know what the fuck you consume, therefore we know what you can digest. We're going to make sure you get shit that's indigestible, bro. Niggas can't digest their religion. And they don't get it. They don't know why. Because they don't try to digest their religion. Because it goes into understanding the mind. You have to go from belief, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. For belief, you have to study the antithesis. Nobody will study the antithesis of a religion because it's going to make you walk away from it. I had a conversation. I'm going to say this. I'm going to really wrap it up. Motherfuckers, I told somebody, I said, I'll make you a bet. We have a 1 hour debate. You feel me? Or 2 hour debate. I said, we'll have a debate. And I have to prove that the Bible is not real, but I can only use the Bible. You have to prove that the Bible is real, but you can't use the Bible. Let's see who wins. The motherfucker told me. This is when I knew I had to let it go. The motherfucker told me, no, that's not fair because you study more than me. I'm giving myself the handicap saying I can't use any out. I had to only use the Bible to prove that the Bible isn't real. I'm giving you free game to use your phone, everything, but you just can't use the Bible. That shows the reality right there. If you have to use your Bible to prove the Bible is real, that validates my point. If you're refusing to allow me to use the Bible to prove that the Bible is not real, that validates my point. For you to acknowledge that I study too much for it to be fair shows you don't study enough for yourself to be free. And don't forget to check out Cafe Clothing, formerly Just Scenes merch. Get all of your intricate designs crafted specifically for the melanated being to develop a positive imagery within self and to have a little bit of fun in the process. From the peace, love, knowledge, and freedom to the dead horses and water designs, all the styles are crafted for the imagery to make you feel as you're supposed to feel. Because as I always say, the best way to fit in is to stand out. And what better way to stand out than with your exclusive styles from Cafe Clothing. All right. I'm going to end it there. That's consumption. I don't know why that came out the way that it did, because I was just talking about consumption. But these are the things that we consume on a regular basis, and we really think we free. You don't even know how to digest what it is that you consume. They don't teach us how to digest what we consume. They just teach us to keep consuming and consuming and consuming. You feel me? We see fat people all the time and we laugh and shit like niggas ain't mentally obese. Niggas ain't spiritually obese. Niggas ain't spiritually got diabetes. Nigga, you feel me? We love talking about physical shit because it results us from having to look at them. Because of the shit that we consume, we focus on the physical. You feel what I'm saying? We focus on the physical only. And we don't focus on the consumption of the mind and the consumption of the soul. Niggas, some motherfuckers have the consumption of the soul is the shit that fucks with our nervous system, bro. The burdens that you carry and shit that you hold on like that. Where do you think that goes? That's etched to your soul. They teach you how to consume trauma. That's all we consume. Trauma and problems. I was talking to somebody one time. They was like, "Yo, why don't you talk to me anymore? Cause motherfucker, all you talk about is people, problems, and pain." No, I don't. Yes, you do. Every conversation you have is about a person, a problem, or some pain. You don't talk about solutions, ideas, or joy at all. That's all I fucking talk about. You feel me? Except when I'm on my podcast, because you feel me, I gotta teach a lesson. I gotta teach lessons in that shit. But on the regular conversation, I'm either gonna talk about joy, solutions, or ideas. You feel me? Even on the podcast, I give you ideas and but you feel me? I'm not talking about people, pain, and problems no more. But again, when that's all you consume is pain and shit, like all you can like gossip is so much weirder because it's like it's crazy. It's crazy. Like, but gossip is the regurgitation of the glutton. Like when you have the gluttony and shit, like that's what I was really getting at. The gluttony of all of this shit. You feel me? Now y'all see why gluttony is one of the 7 deadly sins. Cause it's about consumption and it's on your mind, body, and soul, nigga. Like it's not just you're not just eating food a lot. Nah, it's what you consume on a regular basis. Motherfuckers right now been streaming music all day. Song after song after song after song. When did you take a break? Never. Your unconscious mind and because of that, your conscious mind got reprogrammed. This is why I became so much intentional with the music that I drop. This is like all my jam sessions and shit. I have some kind of message or moral into the shit. Because if it's gonna hit your unconscious mind, it's gonna make you think. This is one of the reasons why they programmed us the way they did and why the music is what it is. Like motherfuckers be like, they don't like conscious rappers or they don't like cuz conscious rappers not only make you think, but what they make you consume, you can digest. And you don't like that you can digest the shit. Everybody keep talking that shit. Oh, I only listen to the beat. And you say that shit because you're listening to shit that you don't digest. You feel what I'm saying? But conscious rappers give you shit that you can digest, and you do digest the shit. And you hate that when digesting it into your mind, it makes you change. I ain't calling myself a conscious rapper. I'm just a motherfucker who rap and I make music because I got a business model behind that shit. And again, I'm gonna explain that to you down the line, but I got a business model associated with my music now. But the point that I'm saying is that when you hear this music and you consuming this shit every single day, some people listen to the same album every single day. Some people don't even intentionally listen to music. Some people don't even control the music they listen to. You feel me? But you're hearing it, you're listening to it all the fucking time. That's consumption. When do you digest it? You see what I'm saying? When the fuck do you have time to sit and actually digest what you just consumed? You don't. That's why it's streaming. That's why it doesn't stop now. How often do you take breaks off social media? You feel me? I ain't gonna hold you. I don't take breaks off social media. And I'm gonna tell you why, because I don't be on social media like that. If you actually fuck with me, I might be in your stories if you pop up and shit, but I really like people's shit. It's people right now that have been following me for years that have liked everything that I posted. And I don't follow them back. And I didn't realize I didn't follow them back until I clicked their profile recently. Like, damn, I've seen your name forever and I do not follow you. Partially that I'm gonna say that on this page. Some people that I don't follow on follow now is because when I had 5 pages, it was like, nigga, I was gonna see you sometime. So they may have followed me from, say, when I had my Hidden Raw page, they might have followed that page and then ended up following my main page because, you know, in your bio, oh, the founder created by this, that, and the third. You do certain shit. I ain't doing that shit anymore, but I ain't going back and following motherfuckers. But if you've been following me for a long time, every time I don't, motherfuckers be thinking I be ignoring them. You didn't like my shit. I remember I used to have women shoot their shots and shit, or try to talk to me and shit. And I'm like, oh, you don't be liking my stuff. I don't even follow you. I remember I had made a post. This shit was hilarious, and I ended up having to follow Shorty after this because of this. So I made this post, and she had made the post too, and I didn't steal it from her. But y'all, this is the time production consuming. When you steal shit, and I used to make captions. So I seen the post, and she was just like, I da da da, and I was like, I don't even follow you, Shorty. And she was like, oh. I said, I will now though. Like, she felt like I was taking a shot at her. And I said, I don't even follow you. I didn't know that. I said, I had no idea this was on your page because your page is private. I don't follow you. And then it was like, oh, yeah, oh, nigga, I get that you follow me. I get that I'm dope. I get that your ego got involved and shit, nigga, but I wasn't following you. So the point that I was saying with that is like, I don't consume social media like that no more. Like, I get on and then I post in the stories. Half of that shit I don't even watch all the way through. Because it's like, if it got some good words into the shit, like, it's just to keep people in the algorithm, yo. That's really all I be doing this shit for now. You know what I'm saying? Because I've learned. But I don't like people shit no more. There's not many likes that you'll like. It's not much entertainment up there. I can't be up there. Now, that's what the part of entertainment. Entertainment means to go in and hold the mind. And all we consume is entertainment. And we think mind control requires a fucking plastic helmet that we got to wear fucking aluminum foil for. No, it don't. No, it don't, nigga. It don't at all, homie. It don't. It needs overconsumption. And you'll eventually be programmed into whatever it is somebody wants you to be programmed into. Between status, our senses of belonging, and just classism and all of this shit, like, it's easy. It's easy as fuck to make somebody consume whatever you group think too. Like, motherfuckers will eat some shit just because a motherfucker said it was good. Like, I know motherfuckers right now that eat rare steaks and medium rare steaks and shit. They trying to convince you that that's not blood, nigga. Well, what the fuck is it? It's juice. Nigga, that's fucking blood. Now, when I see religious people eating rare and medium rare steaks, I'm like, how? Your doctrine says don't eat any animal with the lifeblood in it, nigga. That's lifeblood, nigga. You supposed to cook that shit. But again, somebody told, oh, nah, the steak is more tender and shit like that. I will never eat the same shit of a motherfucker. I ain't gonna go down that rabbit hole because that'll open up this whole new pipeline. So that's consumption, y'all. That's consumption. The euphemism for motherfucking gluttony. Gluttony is evil. Now I just showed you a lot of the evils of what it is with gluttony, but a lot of the shit that we consume, when you don't digest that shit, nigga, you got a problem. And a lot of us, we overconsume and we underdigest. You see what I'm saying? And then now, because you overconsume spiritually, all your life you overconsume, but it has layers to the shit. It doesn't manifest physically until years down the line. So you have people that's like, yo, I can't lose weight. Oh, because you ain't even let go of what you haven't even digested your soul shit yet. Fuck your physical. You feel me? There's shit in your mind. Like, people, they teach us just to go to therapy to vent, but not to actually get the solutions and get the actual wherewithal to digest the shit we've consumed. Not to be funny, but if your therapist is not teaching you about the tree of life, your therapist is not teaching you about your chakras, if your therapist is not teaching you about the dynamics of your nervous system, they're not trying to help you because they don't know that's what they're supposed to do. Because psychology is not the study of the mind, it's the study of the spirit. And the spirit is about maintaining balance. And when you understand spirit, you have to use spirituality. If your psychologist is using religion, that's not going to work. If your psychologist is not using spirituality to help you get through, like the practice of the spirituality, like, this is why they had to erase Eastern science, Eastern medicine, all that shit. They call it Eastern, but we know who it really is. But you feel me? The Eastern shit that they don't want you to use because it actually takes a longer time. That healing and shit, it actually takes a long, because you have to digest it. Nobody wants to digest trauma. But this is equally why I tell y'all, your purpose is on the other side of your pain. If you can ever digest your traumas, if you can ever digest your motherfucking trauma, you'll transform into a greater being. I promise you. And it's not just me promising you from the hope. Like, I'm telling you who I am. Episode 300, we got 9 more. This is the 10th one. I planned it this way. We got 9 more episodes before, well, really 5 or 4, because one of each section. So for a conversation, whatever. But in the next 9 episodes, this is the 10th one. So the next 9, you'll get the 300th episode. In the 300th episode, I'm going to reveal who I am. I'm going to tell who I am, what I am, where I am, what extent I am on this side of the plane, what I come from, where I am, what I'm supposed to be doing, and what all of that is. But those come from the spiritual side of healing your traumas, yo. I can't tell y'all to do nothing that I haven't done myself. I can't encourage y'all to consume some shit I have not digested. That's where we get into the bigger problems that a lot of people are telling us to consume what they haven't digested. That's why you hear there was a long time, oh, you got to do the work. What's the work? I'm one of the only motherfuckers on this planet that's doing the podcast in this game that is actually telling you the work that you got to do. I'm not telling you to have faith. I'm not telling you to have favor. I'm not telling you to have hope. I'm not telling you to keep praying. I'm not telling you that. I'm telling you what the fucking work is that you got to do to figure out who the fuck you are. I did it in the podcast. I did it in all of the So Frail books. I told you the work. And not only that, I do it. So when you need the question, I even do it in my one-on-one sessions. But when you need the questions answered, I can give them to you. But I show you what you need to digest and how your mind has to digest it, how your spirit has to digest. And I show you how to actually have an effective metabolism mentally and spiritually. That's all it is. We're overconsumption. We're overconsuming with ineffective metabolisms, not just physically. But if you have a physical metabolism that isn't effective, you can guarantee your mental and your spiritual is trash. But are they ever going to show you that? No. They're just going to keep encouraging you to consume and consume and consume. But I'm going to go ahead and end it there. Yo. Welcome back. Season 11. It's episode 1. We ready. We ready and we rocking. I feel good. Like, I feel real good. Like, this season is going to be something amazing. I can tell just off of this episode. So, yeah. Go kiss your babies. Make sure they eat their vegetables. And our kids, bro, stop making them. We force our kids into gluttony and don't even realize it. Oh, I ain't got no food to waste. You better eat this food. You better stop fixing them over. Stop making them overconsume because you want, for whatever reason. Do we know as Black people, I'm going to say this because this is important for us. Do we know why we force our kids to eat more and don't realize why? It's because of slavery. Because especially the boys, we would make the boys eat significantly more so that way they can do more work on the yard. You're not going to have no skinny boy working and no skinny kid, no scrawny kid working heavily. You feel what I'm saying? So eat all of the food on your plate and then some, and eat what I can't eat and then some, and then go. Now, when does that stop? Nobody, nowhere, because it becomes a habit. It's a habit I had to break. I used to finish people's food. Like, if they wasn't eating all of their food, I'm like, man, you ain't eating all of that shit. Give it here. And I would eat it. And I had to stop that shit because I was like, why the fuck am I eating extra food? I'm full. But it's, because you a man and shit. It's cool until that metabolism fucking slows down. Luckily, I was in my 20s and shit when I was able to catch on to this. But it's motherfuckers in their 30s and 40s. It's like, oh, you don't lost your... No. It's not that people fall off. It's that life catches up with them finally. The physical finally catches up with the spiritual and the mental. And now this is what manifests itself. But because it's been going on for so long, you can't break that habit. So now you eating far more than you're supposed to. We got to stop making our kids do that shit. Feel me? As opposed to forcing them to eat beyond their limit. The stomach is only the size of your fucking fist, bro. Think about the way in which we load our plates up. And then think about the size of a fist. It's crazy how I watch people say shit like, when it comes to eating healthy, they can measure out all the servings of their food, but they don't measure a single fucking serving when they eating out the bullshit. You feel me? I seen somebody say, I only need 2 servings of fruit, but then we'll eat a whole bag of hot Cheetos. 2 servings of hot Cheetos ain't gonna do shit to you. Because of what we're mentally programmed to do. And what we're spiritually, because what we consume that we don't digest. We got to break that and make sure our kids can digest everything. Mentally, physically, and spiritually. All right. But I'm going to go in there. Go kiss your babies. Make sure they eat their vegetables. And I'm going to see y'all all on the next one. Welcome back to season motherfucking 11, baby. Peace, love, knowledge, and freedom. I'm out.